You see, sometimes I am super glad that I went to boarding school because I learned a lot from boarding school, seriously. And I think I'm just going to make this like a series because this video will not be able to contain everything that I want to talk about that I learned in boarding school. So for this video, I'm just going to be talking about some slangs that I learned when I was in boarding school. This popular slang that is going around now, Sakba, I actually learned it when I was in boarding school. You know, it is like somebody who is broke, you don't have money, you don't have food stuff or provision in school, so it's just called Sakba. Like there's Sakba or Sakba, Sakba the whole me, something like that. So I learned that one in school, and that one was very easy. When I came out and I heard it, I was like, oh, I already know this one. I learned it in school. So I really want to talk about some names we give to people in school. I don't know how to explain it, but some names and positions we gave in school. First, I'm going to be talking about the names we had in our classrooms. Okay, so in every classroom, we always have two people who sit together because we had our personal table and chair. So most times it's two people who sit together, like two seatmates, or sometimes it can be three. Depends on how the class wants to arrange their own setting. So in my class, it was two. So I just had one seatmate. We had names for everything, literally, in my school. Now, your seatmate is not called your seatmate. The name that we give to our seatmate is city. So the person who sits with you in class is your city. So then the person who sits in front of you in class is your fronty. I need to sound funny to so many people. If you want to describe it to somebody, this is how you describe. The person who sits beside you in class is your city. So if you guys are like two that sit together, that means you have one city. If you are three in a seat, that means you have two cities. You get, there's even a plural for it, cities. So yeah, so the person who sits beside you is your city. The person who sits in front of you is your fronty. That is how it is. Okay, don't ask me how, but that's how we got it. The person who sits in front of you is your fronty. The person who sits behind you is your backy. So in class, we have our city, fronty, and backy. That's how it is in class. So that is for class. Now moving over to the hostel. So in the hostel, we had in every room in the hostel, we had 3 rows of bunks. So we had the first row, the second row, and the third row. So there were always 3 rows regularly in every room. You know, the bunk contains 2 people. So there's somebody down and then there's somebody up. Usually the senior students are the ones that stay down. I don't know who made that rule, but that's just how it is. The senior students stay down while the junior students stay up. So the person that is sharing your bunk with you is called your bunkie. Now in the hostel, I feel like we had more names in the hostel than in the classroom because in the hostel, we had different sleeping positions. So you know the way you lie down, we had 3 rows. So there's always a row in the middle. There's one at this edge and one at this other edge. So people who are in the middle tend to have 2 people. Like you have somebody here and somebody here. So anybody in the middle, the place you place your head to sleep, that's the place you place your head. The bunk that is there, the person on that bunk, the direct bunk is your heady. So wherever, I'm not talking about the headies, okay? I'm just like giving you guys the name. So the place you put your head, the person sleeping there is your heady. The place your leg faces, the person there is your leggy. So we had heady and leggy in the hostel. So sometimes this thing helps when you want to like send somebody on an errand to help you with something. You can be like, okay, please help me go to my hostel. When you get to my hostel, my corner, your corner is your space now, where your bunk is and where you keep all your stuff, you get. So you be like, go to my corner, my leggy heady. You understand? Yeah, so that's how we actually describe people's corners to other people. Then we also have your sidey. You know, when your bunk is here, the person's bunk that is next to yours is your sidey. In class, the person's chair that is next to yours is your city. The person's bunk that is next to yours in the hostel is your sidey. So in the hostel, we have sidey, the person close to you. We have heady. The person's bunk is where your head is facing. We have leggy. The person's bunk where your leg is facing is your leggy. And yeah, we had those things. There's also this term we had, which is called kasali. Kasali is a corner that is directly by the door. So immediately you enter the hostel, the first bunk you see is what we call kasali. And that place is like the most dreaded place to stay in the hostel because that place is known as the hub of death. Whenever anybody sweeps their death down from, you know, the bunks inside the hostel down, it always ends there. They rarely pack it. So the people who stay in kasali, they always suffer because they are the ones that end up packing all the debts close to them. And their place is just open because it's close to the door. So that's why we usually called it Kasali Corner. So we had Kasali Corner. Then we also had Halsey. Halsey is somebody who comes on holiday in your corner. Yes, I know it's funny, but we had to try and make the school lively. So I met these things, and you know, when you meet it, you continue with the legacy that was already there. So when you go on holiday to somebody's corner, you can decide, okay, this week I don't want to stay in my hostel. I want to go to another person's corner to stay. That's your mate, obviously. So you pack your things. When I say pack your things, I mean your school uniform, your house check, your church wear, your house wear, your hostel wear, and you know, all of that. You just pack it in your small bag and you go to the person's corner. So when you get to the person's corner, you and the person will now be sleeping on the bed. And we had this really small bed, but it was so funny how two people could fit on that bed, and not like we were 100% comfortable, but at least we could sleep there. So when you pack and go there, when you're in that hostel, when you now move to that hostel for your holiday, you are the person that you're staying with, you're the person's housey. So people like Halsey, Holiday, Z, something like that. I don't know, but we shall call it Halsey. I went to an all-girls boarding school, and of course, you know who his school mother is. So in my school, it was funny because we had school mother, we had school father, we had school brother, we had school sister, we had school grandmother, school grandfather. Like, the tree was just really long, and maybe I'll talk about that tree in another video. But yeah, we had that tree, and it was really a large family tree. We also had Ronsa. Ronsa could mean two things. Ronsa could mean like your best friend, or somebody you are romantically involved in. When I say romantic, it was funny because it wasn't really romantic. It's just like somebody you are close to, like your G. I don't really know how to explain it, but most people had Ronsas, and this your Ronsa is like your G. You know, when you guys are together, people tend to say you are playing runs. Okay, it will mean a different thing in this time, but people who went to boarding school understand what I'm saying. When you play runs with your Ronsa, that was just the peak of everything, you understand. So, and Saturday night in our school was runs night, so people used to go to their Ronsa's corners on Saturday nights to play runs. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about all of that in another video, but here I just wanted to talk about some of the names that were given in school. So to conclude this video, how many of you are still in contact with your city, your sidey, your heady, your leggy, your bunky? How many of you are still in contact with them? And if you're not in contact, what happened? Like, you know, people were close. I went to boarding school for 3 years. It was for my senior secondary school years, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. In as much as in the beginning it was not fun, but I think I'm going to make another video where I talk about the pros and cons of going to boarding school. So yeah, that's just it. I just felt like talking about this. I'm going to make this into a series, so watch out for the next part.